What is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video. And, so today I'm going to be doing a review of the first ever episode of RWBY Ice Queendom English Dub Review. So we will be reviewing the new RWBY series thing, I guess. So first and foremost, again, this is the English dub. This is an English dub channel, so we will have things set a certain way in the comment section to avoid spoilers, because we've had comments in the past. So we will be doing that. We will have it limited comments for this, because this is an English dub channel after all, and we go by the dub. So this is where we are currently at. So I have only watched the first episode of this. It is very weird because RWBY, the original series, was made in America, and this came from Japan, even though it's based off of an American anime, and now we're waiting for the Japanese cast. Yeah, I know, it's all confusing. Anyways. So now, this is supposed to be like a new RWBY thing, basically, but, well, at least according to the people at Rooster Teeth, it is basically supposed to be in the same universe, which, no, it is not. It is not in the same universe. I don't care what they say. It is not in the same universe. It cannot be in the same universe because they do different things than, or at least that's what they've said, they do different things that are not done in the original RWBY. So, yes, it is a different universe. Different timeline. Apparently, Rooster Teeth doesn't understand that. But nonetheless, the animation was really good in this episode, and I'll get into the full length of the episode very soon to reviewing it, but I have to talk about, obviously, the elephant in the room, about the elements and the difference from this. Now, of course, the animation is amazing. I'm not going to display my dismay on the animation. The animation was absolutely amazing. Traditional animation style for like a Japanese type anime. Absolutely amazing. I know a lot of people, there's been discussions which one's better. I mean, obviously an animation, actual traditional animation anime is going to look better than, computer programs, because, I mean, it just flows, with that style, especially with the way RWBY was originally designed. But that doesn't discourage the Maya programs, because I did like the Maya software that they did for the RWBY, for the original RWBY. But nonetheless, the animation was amazing. But I will say, I was a little disappointed with the exterior of this episode and the way this show is being handled. I have a lot of concerns because of the music. The music does not feel like RWBY at all. As someone who's been watching this now and watched all the original episodes, and obviously, I started watching this when season 3 was just coming out, but I went and watched the original shorts, and then the second the first 2 volumes, and then watched volume 3, and I've been watching RWBY ever since. And this music that they have for the anime RWBY does not feel like RWBY at all. It does not feel the same. And upon looking it up, it seems like they are not using the same composers for RWBY, for this new RWBY series, which I think is a huge mistake because that is kind of the excellence of the series. Um, Casey and Jeff basically have been composing and singing for the entire songs, Yang's theme song and Weiss's theme song and RWBY's theme song and Blake's theme song. That goes in with it. And there's a couple things that were okay. Like, I liked the song, I think, in the Weiss battle in the first episode, but it just, most of this music just felt out of place. I'm going to be completely honest, and it just didn't feel like RWBY music to me. Not enough action sequence music either in this. So there's that. In terms of the voice cast, they got mostly a lot of the people back. Obviously, the main cast is back for Team RWBY, but they did change a couple of voice actors like Roman and Glenn Goodwitch. Their voice actors have been changed. Tanya and Jason are not Jason, I'm sorry. Christopher, who I believe is also like Crow now, or Crow in the original RWBY series. So I'm assuming he's going to be doing two voices, for the later volumes, I should say. I didn't really have a problem with Glenn's voice. It did kind of sound the same as the old voice. But Roman's was kind of a little different. I wish they could have just gotten the old voice actors back. I know some of the voice actors that were in the original RWBY, like, were not really necessarily voice actors, like, per se, like, as in, like, a profession or whatever. Most of them were, like, working with the company on other positions at Rooster Teeth, and so that's why a lot of the old RWBY voice actors are, like, not, like, really known for voice acting outside of RWBY. But those kind of voices kind of, sticks with the show, and obviously they become synonymous with those roles. So I think they should have tried to reach out and get those voice actors back. To my understanding, those particular people, like, left the company and don't have those positions anymore, and that's why, they're not in these voice roles. But voice acting is freelance, so they could call them and be like, hey, can you come back and just do this voice? I'm sure they would have done it. Hopefully they do that with Cinder, because I don't know if she still works for the company or not, but I know she doesn't really do that much voice acting either, and I really liked Cinder's voice. So I'm really hoping that Cinder's voice actor comes back. She didn't talk, though. They showed her body, but they didn't, like, Cinder didn't actually, like, say anything in the first episode, so I don't think they've confirmed that yet. But yeah, those are a couple of the changes from the original series to this series. So now getting into the episode itself, I know that was a little long, but I think it was necessary to cover some of the other things, besides that, since I do think that's kind of important. All right. So the episode itself starts off, like, with RWBY, like, I guess, like, paying her respects to her mother. Tombstone is there. Summer Rose. then you see Yang come in, and she talks, and they hug, and about her mom. And it's kind of really quick. It was really fast paced. And it was really quick, and it just felt very rushed. And you kind of see this with this, with this particular first episode, the animators, like at Warner Brothers Japan. By the way, this anime is being animated by Warner Brothers in Japan. So I know it's not the American Warner Brothers branch, but it's still Warner Brothers, and obviously, as we all know, Warner Brothers as a whole is kind of dead at this point. So, excuse me. It's kind of hard to take them seriously at this point. But anyways, with this anime, because basically they're recapping like all the stuff from the original volume 1, but also doing it in a different way. But it felt so rushed. It like it was so rushed, and I get it. It's supposed to like these episodes are kind of for people that have already seen the series. Like, if you haven't watched the original series, you're not going to get this at all, because like normally in animes they kind of try to have things vague and stuff like that. Here they don't do that at all, because they expect that you've watched the original series, which I have, obviously, but it just feels so badly rushed with everything that they did here. So like I said, RWBY, who is supposed to be the main character of this whole series, well, maybe not this particular series, but in the original she was. I mean, she was the main focus, her origins and all that stuff. But here, she is, at least in the first episode, she just feels like such an afterthought in this episode. This episode really was about Weiss. And I feel like the series is going to be mostly about Weiss because of the way the trailers were coming into this. Like, it just feels like this is more about Weiss than anybody else. Especially of how much time she got in this particular episode. So after the RWBY Yang tombstone quick, not even probably a minute scene, they go to Weiss, and she's talking to her brother, and they show her father. Like, they introduce everybody that we didn't even get to see in the original series until later on, because again, they just expect that you've been watching the original series by now. So they get this, and they basically go into the battle where she is fighting, like, the suit of armor, basically, which is what she kind of fought in the original short, the white short, from before RWBY was even a thing. Like, back when, RWBY hadn't even debuted yet. They showed those, all Team RWBY colored shorts, and this is basically a reminiscent of that. They give Weiss the scar the same way, almost. But again, the only difference is her father, her brother, Winter, her sister, they're all watching it. They're all watching it, and they're all giving their own opinions on it, which is completely different in the shorts. The shorts, they don't do that at all. As a matter of fact, in the short, in the white short trailer, it was like a crowd. Like, it felt like there was like a crowd in the background clapping after she had won the battle. Here, after she wins the battle, it's basically just trying to get her approval from Winter and her father to let her go to Beacon, basically. Which again is kind of interesting because we didn't see that in the original. Again, Also, in the original, I should note that in the original first volume season, they didn't really have people. They had, you know, background people that were like black stick figures, basically. So the budget wasn't that big back then. So this should be noted as well. So maybe this is just them trying to kind of be more detailed of stuff. After the fight, the Weiss battle, um, they show like a couple minutes of Blake helping Adam break into the actual Schnee's dust company from a train with supplies. However, she realizes that the White Fang just want to destroy everybody, and they don't want equality, which is what Blake wants. So Blake leaves the group and cuts the train thing off and goes her separate way. Um, and that's kind of most of the stuff they show about Blake. I mean, there's a quick thing after that, but we'll get to that later. But really not that much. They go back to RWBY. Well, actually, they go to Yang. Yang goes into her father's room and basically talks about how she's going to go to Beacon, and RWBY isn't, and it's going to be upsetting, but she's going to be going there. And Tai, talks about you, the going away president that she's trying to get you, because RWBY is like away trying to find that. And Yang already knew about the going away president, but she didn't want to upset RWBY. While this is going on, RWBY is in the store reading a magazine, and actually it's a comic book, I think. But then Roman and his goons basically, break in, and they do the same little scene where she doesn't hear anything or whatever, and then one of the goons tells her to take the ears off, and then she basically says that he's robbing, and so then she attacks, and so there's a big fight on that. With Roman. Roman does eventually escape on top of the roof with his plane, and then RWBY gets arrested by Glenn Goodwitch for illegal vandalation, or vigilante, I'm sorry. However, Professor Osborn sees the potential in RWBY, and he actually mentions her Silver Eyes in this because, again, they just expect you to have watched the original series, even though Silver Eyes weren't a thing yet. But again, the anime is just not hiding any of that stuff. They're just like, yeah, we already know this stuff exists because it was discovered later on in the series, so we're just gonna just say, oh yeah, we're just gonna put it in there. None of this you would get away with an anime, by the way, but because I guess this RWBY anime series is just kind of based on the original, they're just like, yeah, whatever. So Osborn grants permission to RWBY to to attend Beacon 2 years earlier. So she does get to go with Yang, and everybody's happy. Also, Weiss does get an exception letter, Yang gets an exception letter, and there's a quick scene of Blake getting an exception letter to Beacon. And that's pretty much the emphasis of Blake. And that is kind of the end of the episode. That's basically the gize of this first episode of the RWBY Ice Queendom. Really doesn't get anything with Yang too. What about the Yang strawberry sunrise scene? They didn't adapt that. Why wasn't that adapted? Because that happened before the events of when Yang and RWBY seeing the tombstone, and as well as getting into Beacon. Why wasn't that shown? Like, I wanted to see that in an anime, format. That was like the best short of all of them when Yang just freaking just beat the bartender. Like, they don't show that, of course. There is again a brief scene of they showed Cinder, or not Cinder. They showed Salem, but they don't. She doesn't actually talk. Again, hoping, very very hoping that they have the original Cinder voice actor and they don't replace her with someone else. But yeah, very very interesting on how it is so far. This is the first episode. It's supposed to go in its own direction at some point, but so far this is all supposed to basically to my understanding, the first 3 episodes are supposed to basically be a telling of the original events of the original RWBY series, which it kind of is here. I mean, they do update it with the stuff that we do know now that we learned like halfway through the RWBY series and incorporating it into the origins. Here, like the Silver Eyes, which was not known in the original series at this time, but they're incorporating it here because we do know about it now. Which again is kind of like a plot hole, so to speak, because the Silver Eye, like RWBY didn't even know she had silver eyes. She didn't even know she had silver eyes in the original first episode. She didn't know because it was activated. It was activated like halfway through the series, and it was Crow who brought it up about the silver eyes. Now, this doesn't mean Osmond wouldn't have known that she had silver eyes, but she definitely never brought it up to RWBY. So, this again is kind of a plot hole in a way, but again, this is supposed to be its own thing anyways. It is supposed to be a different universe, so I guess that's kind of what they're going with. Is like, well, this is a different universe, so RWBY knows about the Silver Eyes now already. Well, at least Osmond knows. Osmond probably would have known, but I'm just saying that like he never told her that he knew. So that is kind of a plot. But it is kind of interesting how this is going to go and how the timeline will be different once they get seriously into the new episodes. Into the episodes where it's more defined, so to speak, into this. But yeah, this is my review of the new RWBY anime thing. Overall, I do like the animation. I really wish they would put in some of the classic RWBY music, because obviously Rooster Teeth owns the rights to the RWBY score music that they composed with Jeff and Casey, so I don't understand why they couldn't just put that music in this anime, since they own the rights to it. It's their property after all, so they could be like to the anime studios, like, hey, put this in the new RWBY anime. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really understand it, because it just kind of doesn't feel it just doesn't really feel right without the music, without the original RWBY music. At least some of it, like, you got to have at least a mixture of it or something. You know what I'm saying? Especially again because they own it, so I don't see why they wouldn't be able to put it in. So yeah, that's it. comment, rate. Let me know what you guys think of this. If you're just an English dub watcher like myself, we're going to be reviewing every episode of RWBY Ice Queendom. And see how it is. Hopefully, it turns out a little better than this. Like I said, the animation is great, but I don't know. It just, I'm kind of, I don't know where this is going. I hope it gets better. But that's where we are right now with this. We still don't have RWBY Volume 9, though. So, I mean, it's been 2 years for that. So, this is the best we're going to get, I guess, right now, guys. So, and again, the story might end up being better because obviously the original RWBY storyline started to really get stale. The last couple of volumes were kind of terrible. So, maybe this is a good sign of freshness up it, despite the music being kind of a little dull for my taste for RWBY. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate. If you like this video or my other videos, please subscribe. Hit that bell for all the latest contents. Thank you. And that is all about it. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace! Also, besides my YouTube channel, did you know that I also have other platforms? I also have my Twitch account, which is the SS Ultimate Goku as well, just like my YouTube. And I have an Instagram for SS Ultimate Goku. And I also have my own Discord server where we discuss fictional media of anime, cartoons, movies, live action, animation of movies, all that discussion stuff, sports. So make sure to go to my Discord, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitch, and then of course also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you, and I'm out. Peace.